What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. We are just a day or two out from the NFL Draft. You've seen Bobby's, Sage's, and Colin's final mock drafts. Well, now it's time for the one that you've all been waiting for. It's a reason we save the best for last. It's time for my official predictive 2025 NFL mock draft. And I think I'm probably going to be the only one actually predicting some trades in here. So who knows who's picking where. It's going to be exciting. But that's what the NFL draft is. There's chaos everywhere. And also, before you get mad at me in the comments about who your team picks, how many people thought, oh, Michael Penix at pick 8 to the Falcons? No one thought that. No one thought all these quarterbacks were going to go early last year. That's what makes this so exciting and just so hard to actually do correctly. So that's where we're at. Is I'm just going to make picks that I think that these teams might make, and I'm going to provide some rationale for it, and I'm going to go 32 for 32. So if you're a bettor, make sure you bet on this. I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' time. Let's dive right into this. We've got the PFF Mock Draft Simulator. This thing's awesome, by the way. If you guys don't use it, you should use it. I love it. They provide great analysis, and we've used it the entire draft season. So just a quick shout out to them. They do a fantastic job. Trevor and Connor both do fantastic work. So let's jump right on into this. And it's pick number 1, and this is just going to be the pick, right? It's going to be Cam Ward out of Miami. I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. He's the best quarterback in this draft class. He probably would have been the 4th best quarterback in last year's draft class. You have to take a quarterback here. I think that this one is absolutely etched in stone. And I think pick number 2 is etched in stone also. I will be shocked if this pick is anyone other than Travis Hunter. Honest to God, I will be stunned just because he's probably the best pound for pound, best player in this draft day one. He could be elite on either side of the ball. This is a guy I don't really need to talk a whole lot about. You guys know who Travis Hunter is. He was the number 1 recruit in his recruiting class, and he's done everything that has been asked of him from Jacksonville State all the way to Colorado. Just pick a spot to play him. He's going to be excellent. I do think, ultimately, I think he should pick one, receiver or corner, whichever one he's better at, and he can be elite at either one of them eventually. However, he's definitely going to play both ways to start, and that's going to be fun to watch. So let's appreciate the athleticism that we're seeing from this guy because he's a true one of one. I think that the next guy also has the probably the highest potential in this entire draft class. I'm going to have the Giants taking Abdul Carter here. I know it's not necessarily a need with Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns there. Abdul Carter has a higher ceiling than Kayvon Thibodeau by a lot. You're going to have to decide on paying Kayvon Thibodeau in the near future. And it's not like he's lit the world on fire since you took him at 5 overall. Abdul Carter, the obvious comparison is Micah Parsons. You see Micah Parsons twice a year. You know how good that guy is. Abdul Carter has every bit of that level of potential. So I think those are the first 3 picks in this draft. I think that we've all had those as the first 3 picks in this draft. I'll be surprised if those aren't the first 3 picks in this draft. I will not buy Shedeur Sanders at 3 to the Giants. I just won't. New England on the clock here. I think it comes down to 2 people. I think it comes down to Will Campbell, who ultimately I'm going to have them select. But guys, do not be surprised if Ashton Jeanty goes at pick number 4. Do not be shocked. I have battled this all week long between something I think has a realistic chance of happening in Ashton Jeanty here to the Patriots versus something that I just think fits what Mike Vrabel wants to do. He wants to pound the rock, but you also have to protect your quarterback. Now, you can argue Jeanty can do that. He can pound the rock as well as anybody, better than anybody in this class, and as well as any prospect we've seen in who knows how long. But Will Campbell provides the versatility on the offensive line to play the entire left side. You want to play him left tackle? Great. You want to play him at left guard? Great. Hell, you want to play him at center? I think he could be an amazing center, honestly. I'm not super worried about the arm length. He's not my offensive tackle number 1. That's Armand Membou. If you haven't seen my offensive line rankings, make sure you guys go check those videos out. However, you don't really need a right tackle, which is Armand Membou. You also really don't need a right guard. You're probably going to stick Mike Onwenu there. So Membou would have to switch over to the left side. Why do that when you can take a guy who is a left side offensive lineman that has played left tackle his entire collegiate career and can play left guard? I'm certain he can do it, and I'm sure he can do it at a high level. So I'm going to go with Will Campbell to the Patriots, but again, do not be shocked if this is Ashton Jeanty. Don't be. Jaguars here at pick number 5. Again, it's chalk for me. And again, I've seen a lot of people saying Ashton Jeanty here. I don't see that happening. I just don't. I'm going to go with Mason Graham. Just the ultra-high floor defensive tackle. You need this position more than you may think. He's high motor, high floor player. You've got Eric Armstead getting older and only one more this season and another season on a contract. There's a 3-year deal. They may make him a cap casualty after this upcoming season. And then you have Mason Smith, who you took out of LSU last year. But after him, you've got nothing, man. So you've got to get a guy in there that can be a disruptor, that can stop the run and push the pocket on pass plays as well. You add him to a defensive line with Eric Armstead this season and your 2 very good edge rushers. You've got a nasty front 4 right there. So I like Mason Graham. I don't want to overthink this one and try and get cute. I think it's Mason Graham, man. I really do. Pick 6, Las Vegas Raiders. This one's not chalk. I am not going to go with Ashton Jeanty here. It's not listed as a need, but their right tackle right now is DJ Glaze. I don't trust that. And their right guard is Alex Kappa, who won the Triple Crown for worst offensive lineman in the NFL. Like, this guy is straight up bad, and it's only a 1-year deal also. So you can trot out DJ Glaze to be the starting right tackle for you if you want. But if he struggles, which he might, he wasn't great last year. If he struggles, he's not got any help at the right guard position because Alex Kappa's awful. The left side of your offensive line is not bad. You've got Colton Miller, who also is seeking a new contract. So maybe you're drafting to replace him with Armand Membou, which I think Armand could play both sides. Or you play him at left guard because you're playing Jackson Powers Johnson at center this year. Armand Membou fills any one of the holes on the offensive line, sans center, which you obviously don't need. He's the best offensive lineman in this class. You want to run the football, Armand Membou will get you there. He can move people. He is so physical in the run game. He's such a good offensive lineman. I think the Raiders value that. I think Pete Carroll is going to value that just a little bit more than the running back, just a little bit more. Jets here, I think the most obvious need for them is right tackle. Well, the best one just went a pick before you, so maybe they're scrambling a little bit here, but I think that there's someone that they love in this draft class, and Bobby and Colin both had this. I think Tyler Warren's a Jet. If he's there, he could be gone at pick 5. Who's the Jags tight end? Brenton Strange? Doesn't move me a whole lot. But the Jets tight end room is straight up awful. It's 4 random guys they found on the street, and they just gave him a jersey and said, hey, you're going to play tight end for us. You're going to get hit a lot and not do much else. Tyler Warren is one of the most versatile weapons we've seen outside of Travis Hunter, obviously. But Tyler Warren can do it all. He's a security blanket, and he just seems like a good locker room guy. He was a leader at Penn State, a very good Penn State team where the offense ran through him this year. He was Penn State's offense. I mean, the numbers he put up as a tight end while leading a team that was ranked number 1 in the nation for a while, 1,200 yards to go along with 8 touchdowns. That's just receiving, not to count everything else he does for them. This guy's awesome. This guy is just straight up awesome, and you should bring him in if you're the Jets. Justin Fields struggles just in general as a quarterback. Tyler Warren makes his job that much easier. I really think that especially if Armand Membou's off the board, I think it's an easy pick for the Jets, and they run this one in. Panthers on the board here at pick 8. I see and hear a lot of Jalen Walker. I'm going to go a different direction. I don't know about that. Jalen Walker as an edge rusher at pick 8. He wouldn't crack my top 3 edge rushers in this class, just straight up. And he's a good off-ball linebacker. Maybe that's where you want him to play, and okay, maybe. I think Tetairoa McMillan's in play here hardcore, and I think he should be. He's a prototypical number 1 receiver, being compared to guys like Mike Evans and A.J. Green. Just the classic, tall, contested catch guys that just go up and get everything. And you need to figure out what you're going to do at the wide receiver position. Adam Thielen's, 34 years old? Leggett was relatively disappointing this past season as a first-round guy. A lot of drops, not great route running. Thought it was a bit of a reach when they took him anyways. Tetairoa McMillan is immediately, day 1, your number 1 receiver. And Bryce Young's going into his 3rd year. Are we sure he's a franchise quarterback? I'm not. Are the Panthers? I don't know. How can you be when you have him throwing to nobody? No offense to the current Panthers wide receiver room. But I just don't see how you can make it work and make it work with Bryce Young if you don't have anybody to catch the football. Tetairoa McMillan is too good to fall as late as he has been falling in these mock drafts, and he's going to go way higher than people think. I'm certain of it. And maybe it's not at this pick, but he's going to go way higher than people are giving him credit for. Pick number 9 here, and we have our first trade. And Bears fans are probably sad about this because they're getting jumped. And they're getting jumped by the Dallas Cowboys. Now, ignore what they're having to give up. That's not important for this exercise because I'm only doing the first round. Future draft picks, you just whatever. For this exercise, please listen to this. I'm just going to swap their first round picks because I can force the trade. I'm in control of both teams. It doesn't matter. Figure out draft compensation. I think that this is a trade that's very realistic. So we're going to go ahead and force this trade. Dallas Cowboys on the clock, and they take Ashton Jeanty. I don't know what you got to give up. but he's not going to fall to 12. Chicago's not going to let him go by them. If he's on the board, he's the pick. Dallas's running back room is not pretty, folks. I don't know if you've seen it recently. Let me pull this up for you guys just really fast because it is tough to look at. I mean, yeah, they brought in Javonte Williams, who wasn't very good, and then that's it. That's all you got. You got Javonte Williams. Fantastic. Nope. I don't think so. Ashton Jeanty falling, I'm willing to ignore the fact that Tyler Guyton was awful at left tackle. Straight up awful. Look it up. And should be on the right side. So I would love to give them a left tackle. Maybe you move Tyler Guyton to right guard where Zach Martin has just vacated. I don't know what you do. I really wanted to give Dallas a left tackle here or an offensive lineman, but Ashton Jeanty sliding down the board, I just think Dallas sees that and they're like, the Bears are going to take him. He can be a difference maker. Let's make a splash. So I'm going to have the Cowboys jumping the Bears to take Ashton Jeanty. But Bears fans, I think you get a pretty good compensatory pick here. A pretty good consolation prize. There's the word I was looking for. Bears fans, who led your team in sacks last year? Montez Sweat with 5.5? Yeah, you brought in the guy from the Colts, Odeyingbo, who had 3 sacks last year. Who is your sack artist? How are you going to beat the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Green Bay Packers, who all have really good offensive lines? How are you going to beat them if you don't have anybody that can consistently sack the quarterback? I don't know how. I mean, Montez Sweat was your leading sack getter with 5.5 last year. Yeah, he's good, but 5.5 sacks isn't good enough. That's not nearly good enough. If Ashton Jeanty's here, that's the pick. I'm going to go with Mike Green. I'm going to take Mike Green and put him on the edge out there in Chicago. I think that he's better than Odeyingbo day one. He's coming off of a 17-sack season. People are going to be concerned about the competition. I'm not concerned about it. He's very, very good. And I know it says, can play as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 front. I'm putting his hand in the dirt and saying, just go get the quarterback. Don't think about anything else. He can do it. He's not even mastered his stuff yet. Look at what PFF says. He hasn't even mastered his abilities yet. And he's getting 17 sacks. That's on pure athleticism alone. And now you get him in there and you get him to learn with these other guys, I think he could be a problem. And I think the Bears have to go in on a defensive end here because you are going to struggle to win games when you cannot get after the quarterback. You just are. So, yeah, I think Kelvin Banks is a reasonable option here to take at left tackle, or even someone like Joshua Simmons I really thought about, who maybe isn't ready, but he could sit behind Braxton Jones for a year. But if you're the Bears, I'm not drafting for someone that's going to sit, not at this spot. I think Mike Green is a day one player, and I think he's a day one good player. So give me Mike Green here. Curious to hear what you guys think about that. 49ers on the clock here. I think it's really between a couple of guys. I'm going to go with one that I think fits the 49ers the most, and that is middle linebacker, Jahad Campbell. The 49ers defense has been picked apart, guys. Go look at that depth chart. It's not pretty. It is just not pretty. You've got Fred Warner at middle linebacker still. He's 28, so he's not old. But after him, you don't have anything to speak of there. They have lost so much, and Jahad Campbell is such a leader for Alabama. He was so good, so good. He's your immediate Dre Greenlaw replacement, and he's the future for you at that position. You've got to get leaders on the defensive side of the ball. You just have to. You want to tackle, I get it. Joshua Simmons would be great there. I understand that. But he's not going to start day one because Trent Williams is still there, and Joshua Simmons is a left tackle. I don't want to put an injured left tackle at right tackle as a rookie. I just don't. Over Colt McKivitz, who at least is a right tackle by trade. I'm going to go with Jahad Campbell. I think he's going to go higher than people give him credit for. Super athletic guy out of Alabama. His tape was so good and so fun to watch. Flies all over the place. I mean, and he's really, really solid in coverage too. So he fits in that 4-3 scheme that they like to run, that Robert Saleh's going to run. And he just gets himself a young stud to play middle linebacker, and he gets to learn from Fred Warner, and they just get to continue the tradition of having great middle linebackers that has been passed down from Patrick Willis to Fred Warner to Jahad Campbell. Sign me up for that. Saints on the clock here, and everyone's thinking, smart, trade down, get some picks, and take Shedeur Sanders. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to force this pick here. I think there's a realistic shot that one quarterback goes in the first round. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility here. Saints move back because they can wait just a couple extra picks. Now, you don't want to fall behind the Dolphins because the Dolphins may like this guy. The Saints run a 3-4 defense, and they don't have a nose tackle worth a damn. Kenneth Grant is awesome. Kenneth Grant is an absolute outlier of an athlete. He is a massive human being at 340 pounds, but he moves like he's 300 pounds. He will run down athletic people. It is so impressive to watch him, and just his pursuit is next level. I know you guys want the quarterback. But I don't. I think you just say, all right, we're going to try it out, Spence. Listen, are the Saints going to win the Super Bowl this year, guys? If not, then don't take Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders has a limited ceiling, at least at pick 12. You could talk me into it. Maybe the Saints trade down even further and take him. Okay, great. But I think you've got to plug the hole at defensive tackle with Kenneth Grant, who is awesome. Miami Dolphins are not on the clock as they are trading down here because I think the Dolphins and the Falcons and probably the Cardinals all would be interested in this guy, but I think the Bengals are just going to offer up a little too much for the Dolphins to pass on. And I'm going to have the Bengals moving up from pick 17 to pick 13. Again, cannot stress this enough. It's not going to be just 13 for 17. Yeah, you guys can just jump us in the draft. Go for it. There will be later round pick swaps, probably get their pick 49, and we'll give them 98, something along those lines, where they move up to pick 13. And they are going to take one of my favorite players in this draft. If not my favorite, just maybe slightly behind Armand Membu. I'm going to have them take Walter Nolan. This is the Geno Atkins now. You have now figured it out. You have your stout defensive lineman that has an unlimited potential. Walter Nolan's first step is second to none. The guy is absolutely awesome. Just awesome. He showed some of his knocks against him, or sometimes he looked like he wasn't fully engaged. I'm not worried about that at the NFL level. I'm just not. I think he can be an absolute game wrecker on the defensive line. This pick has to be defense for the Bengals, and you get a chance to get a guy that could go at 5 to the Jaguars. Don't be shocked if that happens. If Trent Baalke was still in charge of the Jaguars, that would be my pick. I would guess that Walter Nolan goes at 5 to them. Baalke's gone. It's a new GM. I think they've got to go defensive, obviously for the Jags now. But Bengals, I really like Walter Nolan, how he would fit in that defense and just be an absolute disruptor. He's so good. I'm such a big fan of his. Colts breathe a sigh of relief as nobody jumps them for Colston Loveland. Colts may have to move up if they want Colston Loveland, honest to God. I don't think there's any way Tyler Warren falls to them anymore, and teams may want someone like a Colston Loveland. He's such a good receiver. He's got great hands. You compare him to Tyler Eifert, you'll take that. Look at all the pros here, man. Very good athlete, good arms, a great pass catcher, really good route runner as well. Maybe you're worried about the blocking, sure. But that's okay. He's got, like it says here, he's got the fundamentals. He's going to figure it out. He's the Brock Bowers archetype of tight ends. He's more of the pass catcher who is not bad at blocking. I'll take that. Indianapolis needs that desperately. They need easy completions. That's what Colston Loveland gives you. Falcons on the clock here. I don't think I've seen this mocked before. I like it. I really do like this pick. I like Jalen Walker. His ADP is, 16.8, so he's right around here a lot. I don't know where you're going to play him, but Raheem Morris gets paid a lot of money to figure those things out. You need an edge rusher. You also need a linebacker. Look at the team needs. Jalen Walker can do either one, whichever one he's best at. Play him both. Who cares? He's just someone that can do anything on the defense. You get to keep him right there in Georgia. And I really like that fit in the Raheem Morris style of defense. I think Jalen Walker can be a true difference maker for them and give them a pass rusher and a linebacker all wrapped up in one. I don't know what it's going to be really interesting to watch his career and what he does. Very interested to see how that all plays out. Arizona on the clock here at pick 16. I'm going to have them go with Jahdae Barron. I'm going to have them take Jahdae Barron. This one has been tough for me to decide what they're going to do. I know they took Max Melton last year in the second round. You still need a true guy at corner. And Jahdae Barron, I can't talk enough about how good he was this past season. He was just so good, and you can play him all over the defensive backfield. You can play him in the slot. You can play him on the boundary. Hell, you can drop him back deep and have him play deep zone. He can do it. Jahdae Barron is, I think, the best true corner, depending on what you think of Travis Hunter, in this class, but it's really close. Shades of Stephon Gilmore. You don't want Stephon Gilmore? I do. Love that. Love that comp. Jahdae Barron, very, very good, man. Dolphins on the clock here, and I think this pick comes down to two guys. I think it comes down to Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan, and I think it comes down to Kelvin Banks, offensive lineman out of Texas. If I was making the pick, it's probably Kelvin Banks because I want offensive linemen. I don't want to watch Liam Eichenberg play football for me anymore, and Kelvin Banks gives you a backup plan in case Patrick Paul is not very good, which who knows if he will be or not. But we have shot ourselves in the foot with our DB room. You come out and say, yeah, we're trying to trade Jalen Ramsey. Okay, after Jalen Ramsey, you have nothing. You don't have anything. I'm sorry. Cam Smith, Storm Duck, you guys have shown me nothing in your time. Cam Smith, a former second-round pick that can't even get on the field. Over Storm Duck, who was an undrafted free agent rookie last year, playing over Cam Smith. That's a huge problem for me. I think we're overthinking Will Johnson way too much with his long speed. He can't run fast. Watch how he plays football. Just watch how he plays football. That's all I have to say about that. Shades of Darius Slay, I absolutely can see that. Great size for the position. A long, lean cornerback that can play man, can play zone. He's just excellent. He was a little checked out this past season, and he got hurt as well. So I'm willing to wash away 2024 and see what he can do in Anthony Weaver's defense. I think the Dolphins have kind of pigeonholed them into having to take a DB or arguably a defensive lineman, but they see how the board falls. They move back and give up Walter Nolan, which is devastating for me, but they still get a really talented corner in Will Johnson at pick 17. Seattle Seahawks on the board here. It's got to be interior offensive lineman. It's going to be Gray Zabel. That's the pick. If Gray Zabel's there for the Seahawks at pick 18, I don't want to guarantee anything, but I feel damn good about it being Gray Zabel. Athletic enough for the Kubiak system, projects as a really good interior offensive lineman. You can play him at guard or center. Coincidentally, both of those are serious needs for the Seahawks. Sam Darnold cannot play when there's pressure up the middle. He just can't do it. Gray Zabel will really help that. And if you need him to play tackle in a pinch, he can. He has shown the ability to. He was really, really good at North Dakota State. So I like that fit a lot. I think he's athletic enough to run that system. I think if Zabel is there at 18, I think he's the pick for the Seahawks. Moving on to pick 19, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This one is easy for me if he falls. Malachi Starks. Such a good player, such a leader. You pair him up with Antoine Winfield Jr., and you have just an awesome safety tandem with him and Antoine. And you can play Malachi Starks in the star role. He can play the nickel corner role. He can play deep safety. He's just so good. And no, he's not as athletic as maybe Nicky Manwari. I don't care. This guy's a leader on the Georgia defense that's consistently one of the best in the nation. And I just love the fit. He just feels like a Buck, man. If he's there at 19 for the Bucks, I think that they've got to be ecstatic that he falls to them. Broncos at pick number 20 are moving out of the first round. They're not just trading down. They are trading out of the first round. Pittsburgh might take Shedeur Sanders at pick 21. That's what the talk is. I could see it happening. Absolutely could see that happening. And I think the New Orleans Saints come calling and they say, listen, I don't know what it's going to take to get up to this pick. Our next pick is pick 40. It's not ideal. Maybe Denver doesn't want to move down this far, but if the Saints come in and offer them a huge trade, just whatever the trade may be, you can offer them whatever you want. I don't care. I think the Saints come back into this first round, and I think they jump the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think that they take quarterback Shedeur Sanders. I've heard a lot of interesting conversation around Shedeur Sanders. Now, is he worth a top 3 pick? No. Is he a first-round quarterback? I think he is, especially in a good system. And now you put him in a dome against some lackluster defenses. Let's just call it what it is in the NFC South, going up against the Bucs, who clearly need defense. Look at their needs on the board here. And then you've got the Panthers, who are perennially a bad team, and they don't have anybody on defense. And then you've got them, Saints, Bucs, Panthers. Who am I missing? Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Saints, Bucs, Panthers. Guys, please forgive me. I can't. Is it the Falcons? It's the Falcons. Duh. It's the Falcons. Also, not a very good football team. I think Shedeur Sanders and Kellen Moore's offense can be solid. Can Shedeur take the hard coaching potentially from Kellen Moore, or is he going to walk all over Kellen Moore? I don't know. That's to be seen. But I like the idea of a first-time offensive head coach getting his quarterback and making it work, and you don't reach for him. Yeah, you come back up, but he's not going to fall to you at pick 40. He's just not. And do you really want to run into the season with Spencer Rattler? I wouldn't, unless you're fully embracing being awful, which case, fair enough. But I think that the Saints work their way back in, jump the Steelers, and take Shedeur Sanders right out from in front of them. And I don't hate that for either team. And I don't hate it for the Steelers because I know it's not listed as a need. You've got 2 really big receivers in DK Metcalf and George Pickens. Great outside guys. I like fitting Luther Burden in that offense. I don't know who's going to play quarterback for you. I'm not taking Jackson Dart. And as fun as it would be to take Jalen Milroe here, he's just not a good quarterback. He's such a good athlete. But as an actual quarterback, Milroe doesn't have it, at least not yet. And in Pittsburgh, how do you not start him right away? You can't say, oh, well, we've got this guy who's good enough to start this year. We'll let Milroe learn behind him. You want Milroe to learn how to play quarterback from Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson? That's a recipe for disaster. It's just a recipe for disaster. So I'm going to bypass that and say maybe they go with a quarterback in the second round. I don't know what they do. They don't have a second-round pick. So who knows what they do at the quarterback position. Maybe they just accept Mason Rudolph. Steelers fans, really sorry for you. But I'm also not, because Luther Burden is so good. He's such a good wide receiver. He reminds me a lot of Deebo Samuel, especially after the catch. His after-the-catch ability is insane. Such a good route runner as well, and I think he fits right in with Metcalf and Pickens. You put those two guys on the outside, you run Luther Burden in the slot. How do you contend with that? Nobody has the size or athleticism in their defense to contend with that. Makes whoever the quarterback is, makes their job a whole heck of a lot easier. So I'm going to have them go with Luther Burden here at pick 21. Chargers on the clock here at pick number 22. Joey Bosa is out of the building. You've got Khalil Mack, who can't get sacks anymore, but he's a great run defender. That's awesome. Donovan Izaraki can get sacks. I think he fits in the Chargers defense nicely. A little undersized maybe at 6'2", 247. Really good 3-4 pass rush type defender, so that means he fits the Harbaugh system really well. He's still young, even though he's a senior, only 21 and a half years old. Not bad against the run by any means. 83.6 grade against the run. Really good as a pass rusher, though, racking up 14 sacks this year. He just does it all, and he's going to go early. He's going to go early in this draft. Now, I know he's shorter, but he's not bad at all. I think that he's a really solid pick for the Chargers, especially the way the board has fallen here. You could argue maybe James Pierce, but if James Pierce has these issues off the field that people say that he has allegedly, that doesn't feel like a Harbaugh pick to me. Izaraku is just a guy that's going to put his nose down. He's going to play football. That's what he's here to do. So I like Donovan Izaraku at pick number 22. Packers on the clock here. I think they got to go corner. I know everyone wants a wide receiver. They don't do it. They don't do it. As fun as it might be, they don't do it. And it's still the same GM. It's still Brian Gutekunst, and he refuses to take weapons in the first round. It's just not something he wants to do. So I'm going to flip it over to the defensive side of the ball, where even if Jair Alexander is back, you still have needs at the other cornerback position. And it comes down to two guys, and I debated back and forth between who to go with, between Maxwell Hairston, who I hear a lot about going to the Packers, and Trey Amos, who ultimately I'm going to decide to go with just because I like his size better. He can contend better with the bigger receivers in that division, and I think he's just a better corner than Maxwell Hairston, truthfully. Nothing against Maxwell Hairston, but like they say here, he's CB2 floor. As a floor, he's a cornerback too, which is great alongside of Jair Alexander. But he can be a CB1. He reminds me a lot of Terrion Arnold coming out last year, and Terrion Arnold, very, very solid corner for the Detroit Lions. So I'm going to have them taking Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. Minnesota on the clock here, and you guys have to know who I'm taking here because I do it every single mock draft because I just love the fit. I just love the fit of Nick Emmanwori in this defense. I do. Freak athlete that doesn't miss tackles in a Brian Flores defense that's going to run cover 0 50% of the time and rely on safeties to make tackles in one-on-one situations. Because how do you beat cover 0 like they like to throw against? If you're going to throw the ball against cover 0, you have to get the ball like that. Your corners, your receivers have to get instant separation, and then it's one-on-one. If you get that pass off and they catch that ball, it's one-on-one. Nick Emmanwori doesn't miss tackles. He does not miss tackles. He's an excellent tackler at the safety position. Best athlete we've seen in a long time as well. His combine was unbelievable. And then look at the position. You just lost Cam Bynum. You have Harrison Smith, who is somehow still playing at a pretty high level, honestly. But then behind him, you've got Theo Jackson. He's not the answer at safety, and Harrison Smith can't play forever. Go get somebody that just fits the Brian Flores defense to an absolute T. I like the pick of Nick Emmanwori to them, and I'm going to hammer it, and I really hope that's what they do. As much as I may dislike Brian Flores, I really hope that he gets Nick Emmanwori because he fits their defense so, so well. Houston Texans on the clock here, and it's got to be an offensive lineman. It's Kelvin Banks Jr., who could go as high as pick 13 to Miami. Hell, he could go as high as pick 10 to Chicago. He just happens to fall here. There has to be the right fit, and I think that you absolutely go offensive line for the Texans because you had one good one and you shipped him away. Kelvin Banks can at least play left tackle for you or even left guard if you want, and fills at least one of your offensive line positions because you need to do that. I mean, you are setting yourself up for an absolute disaster. Even with Laramie Tunsil, you gave up 8 sacks against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Now you don't even have Laramie Tunsil. Who's going to block these guys? I don't know. You're clearly the leader in that division. You're the clear favorite, but if you don't protect C.J. Stroud or move guys in the run game for Joe Mixon, how are you going to score any points? I don't know. You've got to figure out that offensive line. I wouldn't be shocked if they go with an offensive lineman in the first and third round or even first and second round. So we'll go Kelvin Banks here at pick 25. Leading me into the Rams pick at pick number 26, and just a great value pick here because you're getting an injury discount. I'm going to go Josh Simmons to play left tackle for them. Josh Simmons appears to be ahead of schedule in his rehab, which is awesome to see. If he didn't get hurt, man, he's a top 10 pick. I would more than happily have him go probably 4th to the Patriots. Honestly, if Josh Simmons played the entire season the way he was looking, he would probably go pick number 4. He'd probably be the first offensive lineman off the board. But a patellar tendon injury is serious, especially for an offensive lineman that relies on his athleticism. So he falls a bit, goes at pick 26 to the Rams, can fill in and be their left tackle of the future, protect Matthew Stafford, and open up holes in the run game. I like the fit in the McVay offense a lot. Baltimore Ravens on the clock here. Another fit that I'm just not going to give up until someone else's name is called on draft night is Tyler Booker. He's just a smash mouth offensive guard that is going to run forward and he's going to run through you and he's just going to move you out of his way. And that sounds pretty good in front of Derrick Henry. I mean, how do you stop that when you are running behind Tyler Booker with Derrick Henry? That is so much power coming at you. That is a hard thing to contend with, man. And in the AFC North, where it's all about grit and it's just nasty, mean football, Tyler Booker fits right in. He's such an AFC North player, it's not even funny. I don't have a whole lot more to say about that. Detroit Lions on the clock here. I'm going to have them go with James Pierce Jr. I don't know how Lions fans will feel about that. He's not a typical 4-3 edge rusher with his hand in the dirt. You can always have him bulk up to about 250. He plays and is measured at, 240s? 245, I think he is, before I see it here. 243. I get it. He's just so quick. I know he's more of an outside linebacker type. He doesn't have to put his hand in the dirt to play 4-3 edge. He just doesn't. He can stay standing up and still have that speed to beat a tackle. You've got to get somebody across from Aiden Hutchinson. It was a huge problem for the Lions, especially in the playoffs when they didn't have any speed to keep up with Jaden Daniels. James Pierce brings that speed, baby. He brings that speed. So I love James Pierce. There's just no way he should be on the board at pick 28. That is a fantastic value pick for the Lions, who get an excellent edge rusher going forward. Washington Commanders on the clock here, and it's so weird to see people are really valuing the running back position right now because of what Saquon Barkley did. We're not far away from running backs being completely devalued. That is not very far in the rearview mirror here. So I think maybe the running backs fall a little bit. And I will have 2 in the first round. And at pick number 29, I think the Commanders and their fans would be ecstatic to get Omarion Hampton. The fact that he is still here on the board, mainly on the board because Denver traded out. After Denver, man, I mean, maybe the Vikings, but they need the defensive help more than running back. Again, and I think the fact that it's such a deep running back class, I think that really plays into this too, because everyone's like, I can get one in the 4th round. That's going to be productive. There's 20 good offensive or running backs that are going to go in the first 5 rounds. 20 of them can be solid. You don't have to take one in the first round. So I think that makes them fall because everyone thinks that way. And when everyone thinks that way and no one takes a running back, good ones are going to fall into laps of good teams. And that's what we have here. Omarion Hampton just falling right into the lap of the Washington Commanders. That's a scary offense, adding him in there, man. Scary offense. Buffalo Bills on the clock here at pick number 30. This is mean. No, I don't think it is. Guys, Shamar Stewart has a ton of upside. What an absolute freakish athlete. And he's listed as edge, but also look at the size he played at Texas A&M. If they haven't updated it, they have it 6'6", 290. That can be an interior defensive lineman that's just more athletic than the guy across from him. I don't hate that fit. You've got A.J. Epinesa there for one more season. You brought in Joey Bosa for one more season, and then who's going to rush the passer? You've got Ed Oliver on the interior, and you've got Gregory Rousseau on the other side, but after that, you don't have a whole lot. And I thought about a wide receiver here, but that just doesn't seem like their MO. They just drafted Keon Coleman last year. They just paid Khalil Shakir. They've got to figure out James Cook's contract situation. I thought maybe a running back like Travion Henderson might make sense here as well. But I'm just going to go with the freak athlete in Shamar Stewart. The Bills' defensive coaching is excellent. I hate to say it, but McDermott knows what he's doing on that side of the ball. A defensive mind like him getting a hold of a freak athlete like Shamar Stewart who can play any position on the defensive line is kind of a scary thing, especially if he's able to refine him a little bit. You can play him heavy on the inside. You can play him light on the outside. You figure it out and you make it work. You have him rotate with Joey Bosa and you move A.J. Epinesa down. Either way. And also on the interior, yeah, you've got Ed Oliver, but you only have Daquan Jones for this season, and then he's a free agent. And you drafted Dwayne Carter out of Duke last year, but he's undersized as is, and you've already got Ed Oliver, who's borderline undersized. I just think Shamar Stewart gives them a really good defensive chess piece in Buffalo, so I'm going to stick with that at pick number 30. Chiefs at pick 31, it's the obvious one. It's Josh Connerly Jr. Got to go with the tackle. You've got to go with an offensive lineman here. I thought maybe Donovan Jackson. I really considered Donovan Jackson here because they value that flexibility that he would bring, where he can play left guard, he can play left tackle, and you just move him how you see fit. However, Donovan Jackson's tape as a tackle, not super impressive. As a guard, excellent. But are they going to take a guard before they take a left tackle of the future? I know that they paid the backup from San Francisco to be potentially their starting left tackle. I don't trust that to work out. Protecting Patrick Mahomes has to be your number one priority. And Josh Connerly Jr. is very, very good, and he kind of falls a little bit here. I could see him going earlier in the top 15. I really could. Once you get to pick 10, you're getting similar value to pick 32. That's just the way this draft class is. So Josh Connerly at 31, very solid pick. Philadelphia Eagles here on the clock at pick number 32. Tough one. They don't really need a wide receiver, especially if they don't trade A.J. Brown, which would be insane if they did. They don't really need a corner. Obviously, they have Quinyon Mitchell, and they've got Cooper DeJean as well. Safety's an interesting thought if you believe in Kevin Winston, which I don't necessarily. I'm going to have them go with a 3-4 interior defensive lineman. I'm going to have them go with Derek Harmon to replace Milton Williams. Derek Harmon, maybe a little undersized. I mean, 310, 6'5", 310 is plenty of size. Very quick player. You know, you've got Jordan Davis for another couple of years, but this is a different level of guy on the interior for your defensive line. Play him alongside Jalen Carter. You've got your edge rushers, and they just build the defense. I thought about a Georgia defender because how can you not? That's literally what they do. I know people don't want it, but it's what they do. It is what Howie Roseman wants to do. But I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to have them go with Derek Harmon out of Oregon, a really, really good defensive tackle. I mean, very, very good. He's in the same grouping, I think, in tier as Walter Nolan and Kenneth Grant. And truthfully, Mason Graham, I don't think there's a huge difference between Mason Graham and those next three guys. I'm really high on Derek Harmon. I think he can be really, really good on the on the Philadelphia defense. It's pretty much the Georgia defense. Let's call it what it is. But I'm going to end this mock draft, my final mock draft of the 2025 draft season, selecting Derek Harmon out of Oregon. There it is, guys. That's what's going to happen. This is the first round of the 2025 NFL draft. And I'm sorry if you don't like your team's pick. But I looked at every team's depth chart and figured out their needs and then found players that fit their systems. And maybe you don't go first round need. Either way, if you can match up talent and need, why would you not do that? I don't know why you would not do that. So I tried to do it as best as I can. And I'm sure I'm going to look silly when I'm going to be so sad when Ashton Jeanty goes at pick 4 and I wanted to do it. Or when Walter Nolan goes at pick 5 and I just couldn't convince myself to do it. But these drafts, I mean, it gets crazier every single year. If you had told me last year, if I was watching last year's draft and a mock draft had Chop Robinson going to Miami, I'd have turned it off and ignored it the rest of the time. So that's insane. We have Jalen Phillips. We have Bradley Chubb. We don't need Chop Robinson. We took Chop Robinson, who had a really good rookie year, really solid rookie year. So I digress. That being said, let me know in the comments what you think of your team's pick. Let me know who you would have rather had in that spot. Obviously, if you're picking at pick 7 for the Jets and you're like, oh, no, I don't want Tyler Warren. I want Travis Hunter. Well, guess what, guys? He's not available. I'm sorry. Or if you're the Jets and you're like, no, we need Armand Membu. He wasn't on the board. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I can't make 2 Armand Membus because, trust me, I would. I would love to have him on the right side of the Dolphins line, right tackle, right guard. I can't. So that is it. That is the final mock draft for the 2025 draft season. I want to thank you all for watching all of our mock drafts that I started back in December. It has been 4 months, 4.5 months of watching these prospects, getting to know them, and I'm really excited to be in Green Bay to watch a lot of these guys walk across that stage, and I cannot wait to boo Roger Goodell as loudly as humanly possible. If you are not already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're here all season. We're not just an off-season channel. We are going to talk schedules. We are going to talk predictions, divisional predictions. We do all of the award predictions for the season. We are a full-year YouTube channel for the NFL. It's what we all live and breathe. So thank you guys for stopping in for this video, and we'll see you all in the next one.